It's no secret the big banks can be ruthless when they want their money back. But this story reveals a new low in their breathtaking arrogance. For more than 30 years, Roy Lavis helped build Cairns, helped turn it into the bustling tourist mecca it is today. His construction company also directly and indirectly employed several thousand locals. Roy's business was so prosperous, the Commonwealth Bank threw money at him and encouraged him to expand. In return, he always paid them back on time, principal and interest. Everyone was a winner until the bank changed its mind. From Cairns in tropical North Queensland to the lofty heights of the Commonwealth Bank's Sydney office, a showdown is brewing between a battler businessman, Roy Lavis, and the bank he accuses of shafting his business.
The whole nation is being held to ransom by the banks because they are not doing the right thing by small business to grow and prosper.
How are you?
How are you?
Nice to meet you. Have the hot seat, please. From its corner, the Commonwealth Bank denies it's done anything wrong. Did you destroy Roy Lavis's business?
That is a view that we completely disagree with.
But tonight, what the bank didn't want you to know.
We believe that if the Commonwealth Bank hadn't acted the way they did, his business would have survived.
The definitive findings of the government's Small Business Ombudsman, condemning the bank and backing its victim.
Unconscionable conduct is illegal, but the only people who can determine unconscionable conduct is the court. Now, how is Roy or any of these other people who have been hurt going to take a bank on in court?
Yeah, like this was a bonus, isn't it? Like this.
At 70, Roy Lavis is a devoted husband, father and grandfather.
Oh.
In 1977, he started with nothing but a vision and the support of wife Alma. But over 3 decades, he built up one of Northern Australia's biggest construction businesses, the CEC Group. It's been tough, hasn't it?
It's been very tough.
What have been the lowest moments?
Watching my family go through it.
You were the provider, weren't you?
That's right. I was supposed to provide for my family.
Roy Lavis helped build this city, from major roads to entire suburbs, even the iconic Cairns Esplanade.
There's not a lot of Cairns since 1977 that was built that we didn't have some part of.
The bloke who built Cairns, Roy Lavis.
Yeah.
We were a property developer, we were a civil contractor, and we were a construction material business.
What's your proudest achievement?
The proudest achievements is employing so many people in Cairns.
At its height, Roy's CEC Group was worth $250 million, employing 750 locals and listed on the stock exchange.
We bought this as a disused cane farm and...
In 2007, it went into property development, buying land to build housing estates like this from scratch. You'd put in the curbs and the guttering and the roads and the sewage and the plumbing?
Yeah, all that was part of our organisation. We supplied our own concrete, quarry products, bitumen.
It was the beginning of the global financial crisis. But the Commonwealth Bank still enthusiastically supported the business's growth, offering a 60% increase to Roy's business loan to $161 million by the end of 2007. That's a lot of money, Roy.
That's right.
Were you worried?
No.
Essentially, that was a vote of confidence in your company, wasn't it, by the
correct.
Commonwealth Bank? They were thinking, this guy's a sure bet.
We were putting $1 million a day into the Cairns economy.
You were one of their golden boys.
That's correct. I was being presented as being the company to invest in.
But in the space of 2 months, Roy says everything changed. He says that having approved the additional funds, the bank then backflipped in late February 2008, demanding that Roy more than halve his borrowings in the next 8 months. What happened?
I don't know. Overnight, they wanted me to go to Brisbane. I went to Brisbane, and in a meeting, they said, we want you to reduce debt.
So effectively, within a year, they were wanting you to halve your debt.
That's correct.
But Roy, they'd offered you the money. They'd practically thrown it at you.
That's right.
What did they say when you said, look, I'm paying my interest, I'm paying my principal? What did they say to you?
They were saying if we don't reduce, well, a receiver would be brought in.
Here in Cairns, what still bewilders Roy Lavis is that through 3 decades of his company's operations, he never once defaulted on the repayment of his business loans, principal or interest. And for that reason, like most of us would, he thought that meant he'd be safe. He says, though, that what finally pushed him into financial default was the bank's relentless demands that he keep on reducing his debt, to the point where he could just no longer pay his bills. To meet CommBank's hefty demands, Roy was forced to sell his most lucrative assets, a waste management facility and concrete plant. Cash flow dried up, and in May 2011, the receivers were sent in.
It just got to a point where the payments was squeezing the lifeblood out of the ability for the company to operate.
I'm sure I speak for everybody at home. I'm asking why? Why did the bank do this?
I think it's quite as simple as the bank decided that construction in North Queensland was risky because there was a number of other cases in the same sort of industry, that they wanted to reduce their risk ratios, which reduces the cost of capital, and Roy and others were collateral damage.
Is that fair?
No, or reasonable or ethical.
In explosive criticism of CommBank, Australia's small business ombudsman, Kate Carnell, describes the bank's treatment of Roy's business as highly unreasonable and potentially unconscionable, which could mean the bank acted illegally.
Unconscionable conduct is conduct that I expect we'd or perceive was unethical, immoral and wrong. Now the problem comes is that all of those words I just used are in the eyes of the beholder a bit. So the court system have to determine that the big guy acted really badly and illegally in the space.
Do you think the Commonwealth Bank acted really badly against Roy Lavis?
Oh, look, I don't think there's any doubt of this. I mean, this guy was growing his business with the bank right beside him, egging him on, encouraging him, saying, you're fantastic, Roy. And literally within weeks, they changed the goalposts. And that's so unfair.
Coming up, why the Ombudsman wants the banks put on trial.
People really were treated unfairly and really do need to have some justice.
And confronting the Commonwealth Bank.
It raises real questions as to whether the Small Business Ombudsman's office actually has the skills and the knowledge and the understanding to look at a case like this.
That's next on 60 Minutes.